Oh man. Good morning, boys and girls. Shout out to the NBA community, man. Y'all know how we do. You now rocking with the best, man. This is the best of seven sports talk. I'm Seven Mitchell, man. Y'all know how we do with this daily NBA content. On this morning's menu, we got Steph Curry on the menu. We also got Shaquille O'Neal on today's plate, man. Real quick live stream this morning, but y'all know how I bring it to you guys every day, every morning. So let's get right into this show. Y'all ready? Let's do it. What up, man? Good morning again. Welcome back to the best of seven, man. A couple things I want to talk about this morning. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I was on social media and I was definitely seeing some things, and I'm like, oh, okay. We're gonna have to break some things down this morning, man. I definitely want to talk about some stuff that Steph Curry had to say, man. We got to get into that. But first things first, man, I want to talk real briefly about Shaquille O'Neal, and he dropped his top 10 list. So, like I told y'all before, Dr. J, I swear to God, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I know everybody got a lot of love and admiration for Dr. J and what he's done, but the hate that he has for the new era of basketball and that top 10 list that Dr. J came out with, bro. I know y'all know Dr. J needs to be drug tested, bro. It's nothing else to be said other
Shit,
than
man, it's got me, man. Shit just be calling me, man. Be calling me, man. I just gotta go.
it's just been like insane and ridiculous, bro. When we talk about these lists that's been coming out, and when Dr. J dropped his, I was just like blown away. But Shaquille O'Neal had recently, I think it was just as early as yesterday, came out with his top 10 all-time list. And to me, Shaq's was a little bit more realistic. I'm not even going to hold you. Shaq's to me was a little bit more realistic. You got Magic, Kobe, LeBron, MJ, himself. He put himself in this one. Steph Curry, Tim Duncan, AI, Karl Malone, Isaiah Thomas, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, that's a solid 10 to me. And I ain't mad at that because these lists at the end of the day is always going to be opinionated. I don't care who's giving it, whether it's a ball player, an analyst, or just a fan. So it's always opinionated, but it's just gotta make sense to me when we going like put it in the news and the headlines, or when it's coming from someone so great in the game. You would think that it just would make some type of sense. And what Dr. J did to me and to a lot of other people just didn't make any sense at all. Like he didn't have Kobe on this list, he didn't have LeBron on this list, he didn't even have Larry Bird on this list. And it's just like, okay, it's one thing to have a bias for the era that you played in. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to do that, then fine. We're not talking about, it just got to make sense, bro. It just really does. And Dr. J's list to me, showed to me that he was just a big old hater. But the way Shaquille O'Neal dropped his after, you can see the balance. He showed a lot of respect in both eras. You know what I'm saying? But Shaquille O'Neal on his list that he did just recently, he put himself above like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Usually Shaq puts them guys first above him. But in his most recent list, he put himself in there along with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I like Shaq's list. You know what I mean? No particular order for what it's worth. I'm not mad at this list at all. Now, I actually came up with my own top 10 all-time NBA players. Now, I did it a little bit different because initially it was like a top 5 conversation. So you could just basically, and they were doing it, I think, by skill position. So, you got your two guards, you got your two forwards, and then you got your big man. So when you're talking about 10, I'm doing first unit, second unit. So 4 guards, 4 forwards, 2 centers. That's my top 10 that I came up with. This is my all-time top 10 in the NBA. 4 guards, 4 forwards, 2 centers. I got Michael, I got Magic, I got Kobe, and I got Steph Curry. Shout out to Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson to me is an icon. He definitely changed the culture of basketball. But to compare him and his success to Steph and Curry's, Steph has also changed the way the game is played. The culture and the way that it's played. That's a little different than what AI did. And Steph Curry has a lot more hardware to bring to this conversation. So as iconic as AI was, and as dominant as AI was, I'm still putting Steph Curry all time above Allen Iverson. Of course, you got Kobe, Magic, and MJ. So those clear out my 4 guards. Then for my 4 forwards, this is where I kind of had a cause to pause. I'm not even going to lie, because of course I got LeBron James. We got Tim Duncan, right? I thought about putting Charles Barkley on this list. I actually would have put Charles Barkley before Karl Malone. I know a lot of professionals, a lot of people have Karl Malone on their list, but I would have put Charles Barkley up there. I considered it. But then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute, yo. At the end of the day, is Barkley better than KD? Is KD better than Karl Malone? Like the numbers might be skewed and different, but would I want KD over both of those guys? Yes. Yes. Give me Kevin Durant. So I got Kevin Durant. I'm sorry. He's definitely going in my top 10. And Larry Bird, I mean, when I'm comparing Bird, Barkley, and Malone, Bird gets it, in my opinion. Bird is a winner. He got the hardware. He got numbers. He was dominant. He was dangerous. He was that dude. Larry Bird is not getting the respect that I think he deserved. So I'm putting Larry Bird there. And then for my big men, I'm sorry. I don't have Shaq in my top 10, especially when you got 2 big men involved. I'm going with Kareem, and I'm going with Elijah one. I keep telling y'all, I really feel like Hakeem Olajuwon overall was better than Shaquille O'Neal. Not just because, and he beat him in the finals. He beat him when it counted the most. You can say that was a baby Shaq. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the best of 7 series. You win 4 games. It is what it is. But I just thought Hakeem Olajuwon's overall game on both ends of the court was better. He wasn't as dominant. No way. He wasn't as dominant as Shaquille O'Neal. But just playing both ends of the court, Hakeem, he was the dream. Like, what I'm saying? And if we talk about Wilt and Bill Russell in comparison to Kareem, to me, it's just the level of competition at the end of the day. Wilt was it was easy money. You know what I'm saying? Similar to what Shaq, was doing, but Shaq was doing it against a little bit more athletic players. But it was easy money for Wilt. And look at the competition for Bill Russell. You see the opposition for Bill Russell back in the day, like them guys wasn't even tall enough to compete with him. So, I got to put Kareem up there and in my big man list. But again, I ain't mad at Shaq at all. He said, if there any people that I would take out, it would have to be Karl Malone. I would have to take Karl Malone out and maybe even Isaiah Thomas. Karl Malone is out, and I would, yeah. I'm surprised Kevin Durant. I'm surprised Shaq didn't put Kevin Durant on here. Maybe because he's still active. But Shaquille O'Neal know that, KD was that dude. But here go my list again. MJ, Magic, Steph, Kobe, LeBron, Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant, Larry Bird, and Kareem. That's my 10, and Elijah 1. Then we got the situation with Steph Curry, right? And this is what Steph Curry said. Y'all tell me if I'm bugged out or if Steph Curry is addressing Chris Paul in this. So Steph Curry says guys are going to have to be asked to do things that they may not all the way vibe with, how they see themselves. The biggest thing is look at teams that have won. You realize that there's a certain way about how you show up on a nightly basis. Everybody is important. Everybody is valuable. It's not going to look pretty for the majority of this year for some guys. Some are going to be in and out of the rotation. Guys are going to be asked to do things that they may not all the way vibe with, how they see themselves. Is Steph Curry not looking through the soul of Chris Paul in response to Chris Paul talking about being a starter for the Golden State Warriors? I mean, somebody talk to me because this seems like it's real. Steph Curry is talking to Chris Paul. I'm not going to say this message wasn't for a lot of other people or for the locker room as a whole. It could have been for more than one person, but I that one of those people definitely was CP3 and Chris Paul. And I didn't never think that that Steph was even going to even indirectly address the situation about Chris Paul wanting to be a starter unless they decided to move Steph at the 2, something like that. But, Chris Paul coming in kind of making demands or having some type of expectation when he's never won anything. He's going up against a franchise that's got 4 rings, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at what Steph Curry is saying, like you break it down, he's definitely talking to Chris Paul. He said the biggest thing is look at the teams that have won. He's telling Chris, you've never won. You got a lot of expectation and you demanding stuff, but look at the squads that won. You realize that there's a certain way that you go about. You see, he's like on a nightly basis. You can't be crying and complaining. He's talking to Chris Paul. Everybody is important. Everybody is valuable. Some are going. Look what he say. It's not going to look pretty for the majority of the year for some guys. That's telling Chris Paul, you're going to be on the bench. You're going to be coming off of the bench. You know what I'm saying, for the most of the year. It's not going to be what you think it is, what it's always been. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's going to be rough for you, and I need you to know that now. There's no Steph is laying the whole year out, the season out for niggas for real. Like let's be honest. Like look what he's saying. There is no competition. There's going to be no race for the point guard on the starting spot. He's letting Steph know now. It's not going to look pretty for the majority of the year for some of y'all. Some are going to be in and out of the rotation. Guys are going to be asked to do things that they may not all the way vibe with how they see themselves. Chris Paul all day. Chris knows he's a starter just about anywhere else. He's been a starter his whole career. Steph is like, you ain't that guy here, though. And I need you to understand that's what it's going to be for the entire year. So let's just get it out the way. I feel Steph 1,000%. I'm just surprised that he actually kind of addressed this. And ain't nobody going to tell me that Steph Curry wasn't talking about Chris Paul in this statement, man. I mean, let's keep it real. Look what he's saying. Guys are going to be asked to do things that they may not all the way vibe with how they see themselves. Who else did Golden State bring in that has some type of expectation on themselves that's not going to be met because of the system that Golden State have? What player, who else did the Golden State Warriors bring in the offseason? So I was a little bit surprised about that, bro. I'm going to keep it real. All right, man. Let me get up out of here. Got a brief moment. I'm gonna be back later on at 11 o'clock for the official morning show, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. Y'all already know. Stay safe. 7 Mitchell with the best of 7 Sports Talk, man. Peace, guys.